let's pivot to Isaiah Likely. And for anyone out there who left him on their fantasy bench last night, when you really think about it, you shouldn't have, because Mark Andrews hasn't practiced much. He's coming off the ankle injury from last year from the hip drop tackle. He had a car accident during training camp that kept him out of practice for a while. And one thing we didn't realize is there were a lot of two tight end sets last night. They used a lot of two tight end sets. So Isaiah Likely was getting his fair share and then some. Had a long touchdown, almost had a second touchdown. Here's John Harbaugh talking about TE2, who really might be in the process of becoming TE1 in the Ravens offense.
Oh, I think Isaiah played just a great football game, a courageous game. I made so many plays, especially down the stretch, play after play. I put Lamar, obviously, in the same category. All those guys. I mean, those guys were making plays and fighting. The offensive line, I thought, did a heck of a job out there. A lot of question marks that, the pundits and the prognosticators had about the offensive line, saying that with that offensive line we couldn't do anything. And to see the way they went out there and played against that defense, I thought was pretty impressive. And that's a challenge, especially in this environment. Communication, and there were problems on both sides. But I thought Isaiah played a great football game. I was proud of him and a lot of other guys too.
John Harbaugh always salty, even when his team loses. Pundits and prognosticators. Well, the offensive line didn't hold up all that well. I mean, it was not, no. akin to some of the best offensive lines we've seen. Chris Jones was wreaking havoc all night long. But yeah, Isaiah Likely was an unexpected star last night. 12 targets, 9 catches, 111 yards, a touchdown, that great run that the NFL account wisely compared to a Lamar Jackson highlight from high school. That stop and let the guy run by you and keep going. It was a great play. It was a great night, and it was almost 2 touchdowns, 121 yards, and 10 catches for Isaiah Likely. And this really was an awesome play. He makes the catch, he cuts, accelerates, and then right at the very end, he does that little quick juke. And that's something that you don't have to have a tremendous amount of physical ability. You're just using the other guy's momentum against him. You're stopping, and he goes right by you. And we've seen it. It's just the planets have to line up just right for it to work. And kudos to Isaiah Likely for having the ability, because it does take more than the average person can do, but to stop and let the guy go right by. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful play, and that was a moment where it's like, hey, okay, all right, let's go. We got a game here, and maybe the Ravens could have pulled it off. And if they keep throwing it to Likely, and he's kind of been on the verge of busting out. When you've got a great tight end in front of you, it's hard to do that. But he's just kind of been hanging around the past couple of years, and maybe he's no longer going to be hanging around, and maybe we're going to see that kind of night from him consistently.
Yeah, and you look on the other side of the ball, Mike. Travis Kelce's been one of the best tight ends in football for a really long time, and now you see they've gotten some better receivers in this offense. He was, I don't want to say a non-factor, because he did have a couple of big catches, but we're not sitting here talking about Travis Kelce and the great game he had. We are sitting here talking about Isaiah Likely and the great game he had. I thought he was the best tight end on the field. Here's one of Travis Kelce's, I think, key catches. But for the most part, Mike, he didn't do a ton last night. But we did see a ton from Isaiah Likely, who I think proved that he can be one of the top tight ends in football. I do think he's going to be that security blanket for Lamar Jackson this entire season. And I agree with you. I think he's ascended above Mark Andrews, but they are going to be in a lot of 2 tight end sets. But Lamar just seems to have a good rapport with Isaiah Likely. So I think we're seeing more and more and more of him. And we may see a little less of Travis Kelce in this offense this year with a better receiving core.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.